Well, joining us now on the line is our good friend Joe DiGenova, our legal analyst. Joe, how are you today?
Just terrific, guys.
Well, listen, I got a lot of stuff we want to get through here, and I want to start off by the fact that the Supremes have got arguments today about this National Labor Relations Board, the NLRB, and the recess appointments made by the president. This is going to be argued before the Supreme Court. What's at stake in this particular case? Because I think it's a fairly significant case.
Well, this is the most significant case that the court has heard since deciding that Obamacare was a tax and not a penalty. This is the only place left to put constraints on the current president. The court is asked today whether or not the D.C. Circuit was correct when it ruled that the President of the United States did not have the authority to make 3 recess appointments to the National Labor Relations Board because the United States Senate was not, in fact, in recess. The court has now decided it's going to decide whether or not the Senate was in recess or not. And if they affirm the D.C. Circuit, that will mean that President Obama illegally, unconstitutionally appointed people to the National Labor Relations Board and other boards and offices during a period when the Senate was actually in session and the president refused to submit those names for confirmation. So this is a big deal because when you take into account that Harry Reid has changed the rules now in the Senate and that filibusters are no longer available, the 60-vote filibuster is no longer available for appointments to executive branch offices. This is a big deal.
Now, is there also a question about whether or not the rulings made by that particular panel should stand or not?
That is correct. If they were illegally and unconstitutionally appointed, anything that they did was, as we say in the business, ultra vires, beyond their power, and therefore all of those actions taken while they were not actually in office are null and void.
So this is really the first time that any of these cases that seek to limit the executive order and the executive actions being taken by this president.
Yeah, this is a big deal, and in this instance, you got to watch Kennedy as always. He's the swing vote. I think Roberts, even though he went Hawaiian on us on Obamacare, probably will do it correctly this time on this one. I mean, that nutcase ruling in Obamacare is just incomprehensible. At any rate, you might even pick up a liberal or two on this one.
Joe DiGenova, you'd heard me talk about the April Fool's election here for D.C. mayor. Vincent Gray was audacious in his speech this weekend where he said, everyone knows that our 2010 campaign had shortcomings. We've had arrests, we've had indictments, we've had convictions. There's still an open investigation into the mayor and his involvement in the 2010 campaign. How does this complicate that investigation now that he's running for re-election?
Well, the mayor is doubling down. Not only did his campaign have shortcomings, but the shortcomings were in very tall grass. What you've got here is the mayor has adopted a strategy that he's going to be in the face of the United States Attorney Ron Machen, an African-American U.S. attorney who you will note has not been criticized for investigating a black mayor like I was when I was U.S. attorney. The bottom line here is Gray is doubling down. He's going to attack the investigation. He's going to not apologize to the people in general. His apology was to his campaign workers yesterday. Look at the language. He doesn't apologize to the people of the District of Columbia. He apologizes to his campaign workers. Also, the mayor has decided that even if he is indicted, by seeking re-election, he will be in a more powerful position in front of a jury if he has to go to trial. This is a strategy.
Why is that? Because it'll look like it was politically motivated?
Yeah, well, I mean, when you're in a position that the mayor is in, and you know that some members of the jury are never going to want to convict you anyway because you are a Democrat or you're an African American or you don't like the U.S. attorney or you don't like whoever, the bottom line is he feels he's in a stronger position now to fight this by seeking re-election because you're absolutely right. It will look like the U.S. attorney is trying to interfere in the electoral process. That, of course, is poppycock. But nonetheless, this is what the mayor is. I mean, this guy, this is your basic Democratic good government elected official.
If he's looking for the Latino vote, he's certainly showing that he has cojones, if you know what I mean.
Well, I think there's no doubt his move is ballsy. There's no question about it.
Tomas. Listen, Senator Cardin says he's not quite clear on whether Al-Qaeda was involved in Benghazi. Joe, would you like to help clarify this for
this is your senator, Joe.
The senior senator from Maryland.
One of my two great senators. Well, let's say this about Ben Cardin. Let's get him first, then we'll get to Benghazi. This guy's a hack, an apparatchik, a ward healer politician. He's never had an original thought. He is what we used to call, when I worked in the Senate, a wind-up toy senator. He is a buffoon. But let's give him a little education. Not only did the State Department admit that terrorists were involved over the weekend in the attacks on Benghazi, but the actual administration documents themselves show that AQ, Al-Qaeda, whether of the generic variety from Afghanistan or in the Maghreb or in Africa or Al-Shabaab or whatever it is, were definitely involved. In fact, everything that we've learned since the New York Times ran its stupid story by David Kirkpatrick, its Cairo bureau chief, is that all sorts of Al-Qaeda people were involved in this. And more interesting than that, we have been told by former CIA people that on the first week in October, after the September 11, 2012 attack, the current CIA chief, John Brennan, was in Tripoli. And while he was there with other CIA people, they reviewed the video of the attack on the annex and the consulate and sat there and identified at least 6 Al-Qaeda senior officials who were at the scene of the attack.
But Joe, this is the power of that New York Times article. This is the Hillary for Clinton campaign going, and here's Ben Cardin getting in line for a cabinet position.
Well, you know,
this is a senator saying he's not sure about this.
Uncle Ben, as we used to call him, he really is he's the classic apparatchik. They give him a piece of paper. He reads it.
Go out and read this statement, Senator. Yeah. That's right.
He doesn't even think about it. I mean, and the notion that he couldn't on his own think about whether or not, I mean, this shows you what a dumbbell the guy is. I mean, it's just remarkable. But by the way, what's really interesting about this is if you look at Chris Christie and how he's been slam dunked over this traffic thing, where was all this aggression about the IRS and Benghazi from the mainstream press? Isn't it remarkable that they couldn't get themselves interested in the death of 4 Americans in Benghazi, or the IRS destroying American citizens trying to exercise political rights? But boy, if there's a traffic jam in Jersey, this is a national scandal. And by the way, how about the Baltimore Sun can't even figure out that Martin O'Malley and his little friend, Mr. Brown, running the Maryland website, the thing still doesn't work, and you can't even get a peep out of the Baltimore Sun. If you don't think that these media people are totally compromised and ideologically committed to anything to the left. I mean, this is absolutely
Joe DiGenova all rested up from his Palm Springs
I tell you
vacation.
what, that Palm Springs vacation was good for him.
Hey, the
and
water
I haven't
is
even
good
mentioned
there.
Gates.
Yeah. Well,
all right, Joe, listen, and you just teased. We're going to talk about the Maryland healthcare site and the debacle there later on in this hour. Joe, thanks for joining us today.
and by the way,
Okay, guys.
I misspoke.
Happy New Year.
I said that he was the senior senator from Maryland. It's, of course, Barbara.
Oh, that's right, Barbara
Mikulski,
is
of course,
the senior
is,
senator.